Well, for me, I volunteered at North Memorial Hospital ever since the end of my high school, senior year of high school, and I volunteered there just every weekend, and it came down to a point where I wanted to work. I think my volunteer time at North Memorial was up, and I just wanted to find more experience, something more in depth and a little more hands-on. And so the manager there at North Memorial in the physical therapy department directed me towards this huge hospital directory. And again, going back to what they've said, what the panelists here have said, that it's really who you know too. You're engaging yourself and really needing the opportunity and wanting the opportunity and going in there and finding yourself out. And so I went to the directory and I just called. I did the old-fashioned, hey, what's up, how you doing? I was just wondering if there are any employment opportunities available. And the first time it was hard because you were either declined or you didn't have enough experience, or you just didn't have the qualities that met for the position. But I kept in touch with them anyway, and after I graduated, fortunately I was in a position where I had enough experience, and I just had the experience, and I called them back and they had a position open and I was there. So just keep in contact, make sure if you really want to pursue it, make sure you maintain communication with them.
And I just want to have something to add. I know we all kind of talked about networking and stuff, and networking definitely is super important. But I mean, the traditional ways to find a job, like going to career fairs, super important. And I know people do not utilize that as much as they should. Going to your career centers, I went to see my career counselor at Carlson maybe 3 times or 4 times my senior year, just to kind of make sure I was doing the right thing, making sure when I accepted my position, to make sure that this is what I wanted, or even she gave me tons of tips on how to find jobs, or tons of places to apply for. So if you're afraid that you don't have the right right connection and stuff, the traditional means, job search, web searches and stuff, but definitely your career centers, they have so many connections that that you could use too. So if you don't have them, there's something on campus that does have connections for you. So definitely utilize that as well.
One other thing I want to add too is that utilize your colleagues, utilize us, Hmong students who've graduated. We initiated the Hmong alumni group, which Joe and I are part of the steering committee for it. Utilize us because we know a lot of folks who have graduated, are working. They know what positions are open. Because there's hundreds of alumni, Hmong alumni, who know a lot. So utilize us. Don't be afraid, because we love to talk. So again, the Hmong alumni group is around. We're here to help you, support you, and really guide you, because we want all of you to succeed. So definitely utilize us. Don't ever be afraid, because we're more than happy to respond back, call you, email you. So definitely utilize the group.
Well, we've got just 10 minutes left or so. One last word of advice for students, or kind of final things of advice that you would have for students as they're, whether it's things to be doing while they're a student or things to be successful as they're transitioning out into the workforce?
Well, how many of you guys are seniors, juniors? Seniors? Oh, okay. Juniors? Sophomore? Okay. I think for the seniors, because you guys are getting closer to graduating, and how do you guys feel? You guys feel excited? You guys feel scared? Especially with the economy?
I'll say scared. So, because I don't know, Ying said, scared of the unknown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, going back to Zura's point, tap into other people that have been there already. I think we started a professional group called Bridge, And I know that you, I think we came and did a presentation, but I'm not sure. But if not, then Drova has my contact, and within that group, there's a lot of Hmong professionals who've been where you are today, who were seniors and who were so scared to graduate, didn't know what to expect, especially with this economy. That's a good place to start. Get to talk to us. We're here today, so afterwards, don't be the first one out the door. Like, get our contact information, and you never know, because on a weekly basis, I get 2 or 3 emails of jobs, just random jobs, and the email said, "Hey, we're looking for this. If you're not interested, if you know anyone, email it out." And I'm like, okay. I didn't even ask for that, but again, that networking piece becomes so important. So for the seniors that are about to graduate, start now. If you didn't start already, start getting out there, looking at other professional groups that you can join, or looking into alumni groups that you can tap into. Tell them, hey, I want to do your event, and this is what I'm interested in. Do you know anybody? Or would you like to sit down and have coffee? Because that would be a good way to start your networking. And from there, you never know where it could go from there. So that would be my advice is, look into the alumni, look into professional groups. It doesn't have to be home focused. It can be into your career. If you're an HR person, look into the HR professional staff chapter. They have one here. Tap into them. Go to the events. Because that's how you could start getting networking. Before you know it, jobs start popping up. Jobs that weren't even on the online search, but then they remember you, so they'll personally email you. So that would be my advice. Start now. Yeah.
I think when I graduated last year, and I think when I was graduating, I think the one thing that made me frustrated the most was, people telling me that, I couldn't find a job, or, like, this is a hard economy, it's gonna be so hard. But I think something that, a lot of my professors kind of said too is like, yeah, the economy's bad, but it doesn't make it impossible. Like, you just have to try harder, like, to find a position. And I think the economy gives a lot of people the excuse to say, oh, I can't find a job because it's just so hard. But, it's not. Like, I think if you really try, like, you could find something that would fit you. And so, like, I just think, like, you really, like, you have to make the extra effort to go out there and to go find a position that you like. And then another thing is, to be flexible. Like, I know everybody here has a different major. You guys could probably all apply for, like, the same job, because whatever, like, a lot of positions that are open right now, like, you could apply whatever you're learning to a certain position, like, to any position. So, like, if you're, like, a psychology major, like, you don't have to become a psychologist, or, something like that. You could go into business, or something like that. So, like, be flexible and be open-minded about what kind of positions that you want to apply for. I know I've talked to, with Admission Possible, we do a lot of events for travelers and cargo, and a lot of the students, they're like, oh, we don't want to go because we're not business majors. So it's kind of like, like, these, like, businesses, like, they have tons of positions that they are open to, hiring, like, English majors, like, journalism majors and stuff. And so the positions are out there, the companies are out there. Be open-minded and look around, and but, like, at the same time, like, know what you want. Like, don't apply for a job that you're gonna hate. Like, like, because then you're gonna be there for, like, a year or two and you're just gonna hate it, right? So, and and a lot of people are like, like, in this economy you can't be picky. But, be picky, because this is, like, what you're gonna do. So, know what you want, but at the same time, just kind of be flexible with it, and be open-minded to applying for different positions and stuff.
I think Sanders, you pretty much have already said what I wanted to say, but one thing I would add is to start building a portfolio. I think that's really important, to build a portfolio. So you kind of have an outline of what you've done, and something again, like I said, something visible for you to bring to your interviews. 'Cause a lot of times when people go to interviews, they bring, like, a sheet of paper, like their resume, and that's it, and I brought in my resume as well as my portfolio with me, and that really shows that, it just makes me different from the other folks. When I was leaving in admissions, I was interviewing for my positions too. So the ones I remembered the most were the ones who, like, brought something, either something different or new, or a portfolio for me to look at. And a lot of them, they're all the same, so I forgot a lot of the candidates already. I interviewed like 40 people, 50 people. So, you know, even starting something small, you know, maybe building a portfolio now, and for those who are younger, you know, to maybe start thinking about it, is to build it up, and especially for you, because I think you're a freshman? Okay, is to even start collecting different things now, collecting, you know, sample papers, awards, certificates. If you intern at a place, take the brochure and save it. You know, so something small, and then you don't have to worry about it later. Because I didn't start building my portfolio until my senior year, and I had to like really dig deep in my stuff to, you know, collect all these things. So even starting early your freshman year too. So that's one piece that I would say to the seniors.
I think you guys pretty much concluded everything. One thing I like to reiterate is to keep in contact, really keep in contact with the managers or wherever you're trying to apply. I think it's very important. Just don't give up. And if there's anything that you guys might need, I mean, Joe Bud does a great job with forwarding you information that you might think that it really isn't relevant at that time, but it'll come back and it'll circle around and you'll eventually do well. So you have great community connections like Jova or what was it, the fair, which fair was it?
Career fair?
Career fair?
It's
Is
like
it
a
careerfair.com or what is it?
Well, I mean, the U of M has their career, the one at the convention center every year. I mean, Carlson has. I went to Carlson. They have like 2 a year, so.
I'm sure Heidi and Jean can talk a little more about their career fairs too.
Talk about that.
And I would say one last piece is talking what he said is be flexible and don't get so focused on the title that you're gonna have, because sometimes it's read below that, read the responsibilities, because those are what's gonna be important to get you to the next level. Because I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to be a coordinator, you know. It's like, no, it's like, okay, seriously, get over that. Like the title sometimes doesn't really, like, you know, give you a good understanding of what the job is going to be about. So don't get bogged down to like the little specifics here and there. Really step back and look at it from a bigger picture. So.
And don't focus too, like, you know, because you're still in college, don't focus too much on pay. Like, if you have an internship that is you could gain great experience from, but it's unpaid, versus like something where, you know, like where you get a paid internship where you just make coffee every day. Like, go for the one with a good experience. Like, it's gonna look like, not only will you learn so much from it, but it's gonna look great on your resume. And you know, and so like, you know, and I know like it's hard to be poor and stuff, but like, you know, you're in college, you know, have people to support you still. So, so you know, like definitely like, if it's pay versus experience, like really look at the experience.
And say too, be persistent. Just because you didn't get a call back, or just because you didn't get the job, does not mean that, you know, you're bad. So be persistent and keep going. You know, sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Oh shit.
Well, thank you so much to all of our panelists for the great advice and information. I think Jova has a little thank you gift for all of you for donating your time in this busy work week that you were talking about, all these long hours, and maybe it was a nice getaway from the job.
Yes, it was.